So basically in this tutorial what I'm going to do is just cover how to make jewelry using primitives and the Zmodeler tool, okay? A wearable accessory, I should say. So that could be a pendant, a ring, a bracelet, an anklet, a toe ring. Don't be that person. You know, whatever, an earring, things with ring in them. So basically, I'm going to show you how to do that in the most basic of senses, all right? So first thing we need to do is decide on a primitive shape. So I'll click on this, and what you're going to see is you're going to have, these are your primitives, all right? So you click on the brush here, the tool, and these are the options of what you have, okay? So find one that's going to make sense with what you're doing. For the most part, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ring here. I'm going to click and drag it, and that was not the one I was hoping for. I'm looking for the regular one. See, I adjusted it already, so let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see. I want the old ring, not the one that I made. See, that one looks different. Here we go. This one. Okay, so you're going to end up with something like this by default. And what I'm going to do is hit edit to bring it into this mode. But you can see it's kind of rounded. For the most part, I'm just going to do a ring here. For the most part, what you're going to notice is it's very rounded. But when you look at a ring, normally it's actually kind of square, because otherwise it would be kind of rounded and it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't feel that good in your finger. It would be cutting in, kind of cut in a little bit here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to change some of these settings. So what you want to do is go down to initialize, and this allows you to change the settings. And you can play around with these. And you can see what they do. Just go ahead and do them if you feel they're going to work. But I'm just going to go ahead and just do the things we should do. So the S radius here, I'm just going to go ahead and change that to 4. Oops, sorry, not S radius. That's the thickness. So this I'm going to actually manually adjust. The S divide is what I'm going to change to 4, which is basically the division this way. Well, you can see what it did. All right. I'm also going to, just to make it a little bit easier to work with, I'm changing this to 32, do half of what it was. All right, because I'm gonna model this by polys, and then the twist, because you can see it's kind of cut in. The twist, I'm gonna switch that to 45. Boom, and it's gonna make this shape. Okay, and I'm gonna take the S radius and make it a little bit thicker. Okay, something like that. All right, so now I got my ring here. Yay! That works pretty good. So now what I need to do is, in order to like make it sculptable, so let's say I do BST. As soon as I click on it, it's like, nah, you can't do it. So it says make polymesh 3D button, which is up here. This basically initializes it. Now it's a poly that I can sculpt on, okay? So I can sculpt on it just like I normally would. I wouldn't do that because it's going to look that good. What I'm going to use instead is the Zmodeler. So it's B, Z, and M. Let me show you B, Z. It's down here, Zmodeler, and then M. Now it's all context sensitive, so depending on whether I have, if you remember, a polygonal object is made up of a bunch of basically subpolygons here. So we have vertices, which is just a single point that has an XYZ vector, and then we have edges, which requires 2 points. So you have 1 point drawn to a line to another one. So this is an edge. Oops, sorry about that. And then you have faces, which requires at least 3 edges. But most of the time when you're working in a sculpting app that's going to use subdivision, it's usually you want to work with quads. And honestly, when you're modeling and stuff, you want to work with quads as well. That's generally considered best practice. All right. Now, depending on what I have selected, you can see that it will give me different options. Okay. Now, here's the thing. All of these, some of them are kind of custom to ZBrush, but a lot of them are actually come from other 3D programs that you would find in like Maya or Blender or Max or whatever flavor of 3D animation modeling software is. So they're actually very well. They're well known. Everyone knows what they are. Okay. So I'm just gonna make a ring. I actually didn't really come up with a ring design, so we're gonna kind of wing this one. And there we go. So first things first, I am gonna go ahead and try to make, like, I don't know, I'll make a heart on this because that's pretty lame, I think, right? People like hearts. So what I'm gonna do is I want to grab this face, and I want to grab 2 faces. I want to pull this face and this face out. Okay, so if I click on one and drag out, it's gonna draw 1 face. But if I want to do 2, I can hold Alt, and that will let me like select. So unlike invert more or less brush, which it normally does, it's like select when you're using the Zmodeler. Now when I click and drag, it'll extrude both of those. Okay, so I'm gonna extrude them up, and we'll go with this much. Now what I want to do is I want to split this edge. So I'm just gonna go on here, click. All right, so we're gonna go something like that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here, click and drag. All right, and let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and go to transform, and I'm going to turn on activate symmetry. So I'm going to click and drag. And then I am going to, now, what I want to do is just move this. Right now, as it stands, every time I go to click on this, it's going to just make a new piece, which isn't really what I want. So to move, I'm just going to hold space. I'm going to go over to the part I want to move, and hold space bar, and I'm going to choose move as my polygonal action. Boom. And I'm going to take it, go here, and I'm just going to take it and move it. See, it's moving down. So we'll go over here, spacebar. So align to normal, align to axis. Let's try align to axis. And that still is only really letting me move in that one specific way, which kind of sucks. So let's do align. All right. Well, we'll do this instead. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to switch this back to QMesh. And I'm going to go to the verts here, and I'm just going to paint my verts by holding Alt. All right, I thought I had Alt. You suck. Alt, click, click. Ah. And then I'm just going to grab a vert down. Let's see. Yeah, it's terrible. Let's not do it that way. That's not really working. All right. You know, let's not even do that. We're going to do something else. All right, so I got this going on here, and I'm just going to make some kind of cool thing. I don't know. So I'm going to click and drag this up. Click and drag up a little bit. And then I just want this to cut across. So to do that, I'm just going to click and drag up. And you'll see it automatically snaps to itself, which is pretty cool. All right. So now we got this little kind of ring thing going on here like that. Neato. Okay. So that looks kind of neat. That's something. Let's go ahead and go space, and we'll go ahead and let's see, delete. So I'm gonna click there, and I gotta do it on this side as well. Click there. Beauty. So now I got this hole in there, but I want to. Oh, actually, you know what? That's not gonna work. Hang on a second. Oops. Let me redo that last one. I'm gonna cut this first. So I'm gonna click here and add an edge loop. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and delete those. Boom. And boom. Oops. I got to put on here too. There we go. And boom. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of cut in there. So to do that, I am going to go here. And then we are going to go ahead and where's bridge? Click. That's not quite what I was looking for. Let's see if I go. It's hard because boom, that was not what I wanted. I want the edge. Click the edge, and it. Oh, whoops. Okay, delete that. So I want to bridge this. So what I'm gonna do is I click this edge here, boom, and then I click this edge here, and it will bridge across. I don't know if you can see. And I can do the same thing here. Click here, and then click here. Click the other side of the edge, and it will bridge it. Okay, so that's a bridge. Bridge it. My cousin. All right. So now I just put a little nuck in there. I don't know if that looks good or not. It's something. Okay. I don't know what I'm making here. All right. Now let's go ahead and I'm just gonna, I don't know, make more with this. So let's just go ahead and on this side, I will go like, let's see, let's do something real quick. Let's do geometry and let's divide. So if you see, if I divide the geometry, it's going to give me this shape here, right? So let's say this is what I wanted. It looks dumb, but we'll just say that's what I wanted. You'll notice that when I divide it, it's going to subdivide the entire thing. If I want to have like a harder edge, what I need to do is actually add edge loops on them. So I'm going to go to like my edge here. All right, let's try this. Oh, I'm still on bridge. And I'm going to go insert. I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag it really tight to here. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. Click, and I'm going to drag it really tight to up there. Alright, and where I have tight edges, I gotta do it on the inside as well. And looks, did I do it on the, looks like I already did on the inside there. I think I did. Okay. What you're gonna end up having is this. Now, when I go to divide this, that is gonna remain harsh, because when it subdivides it, it's a small area to subdivide in. Alright, so I can make things harder by adding those in. So let's undo that. And now what I'm going to do is go through, and I'm going to kind of do a similar thing here. But instead of doing insert, I'm going to go ahead and do bevel. So I'll click here, and oof, wasn't open to that. I'm going to try beveling. Okay. So bevel is, it sounds single poly. Let me double check. Boom. And it's on edge loop complete. Edge loop partial. Let's see if that will just do the one piece. It's letting it do one on the one piece here, but it's not real fancy. It makes me unhappy. Let's do just poly loop. See if that gives me what I want. That was not what I was hoping for. Oh well. Alright, oops. I'm gonna switch this real quick so I don't keep deleting stuff. Alright, so now let's see if I hit 3, or sorry, not 3, hit divide. Now I have something that looks like this. Okay, and that to me is very, we'll say, adequate. And what I'm going to do is divide again. And now I have this kind of little shape here. And what I can do is I can now, I'm going to switch to B, M, and V. And we will make this a bit bigger. And I'm going to hold shift. And I'm going to make my heart shape now using what I already built from before. Let's just shift to smooth this. Oops. Let's unsmooth that a little bit. Okay. And let's see. And we're just going to try and do our best. Imagine I did a nice job. I know it's hard. But we'll say I made a heart shape here. This is the ugliest ring ever. Do not give this to your mom. Okay. This looks so bad. Alright, let's just make this a little bit smaller. And let's go in here. And I'm just going to kind of pull this down a little bit more. And then we'll pull that out. Alright, so I made kind of a heart ring thing. Okay. You get the basic idea of making something like that. Alright, that's it.